Good day everyone, especially to our dearest instructress, Mrs. Carla Joy Torre Palaris. I am Erica Ausa Cervantes from Bachelor of Secondary Education to major in English. And in this video, I'll be reporting the two topics which are the rule of economy and the rule of relevance under the rule of teaching grammar. And in this subject, the teaching and assessment of grammar. Do you think what is the meaning of this subject? So for me, my opinion about this subject, it is known as a way of assessing grammar. It is also defined in terms of accurate productions and comprehensions, and then assessed through some skills. And while I'm discussing my report, may you please lend your ears, your full attention to listen and observe and take those important ideas on the content of my topic lesson I am going to discuss. Going back to my topic about the rule of economy and the rule of relevance, which is under the rule of teaching grammar. Have you ever heard the terms about the rule of economy and the rule of relevance? So, firstly, let me know first what is the rule for teaching grammar. Before I'm going to discuss my two topics, which is the rule of economy and relevance, let me know first what is the meaning of the rule for teaching grammar. By the rules of teaching grammar, it teaches in order to facilitate the learner's comprehension and productions of real language, which is provide the opportunities also for learners to put the grammar for some communicative in use. And now I'm going to discuss my two main topics, but first I'm going to discuss the rule of economy. But what is the rule of economy? Have you ever heard about the rule of economy? Of course. If not, I'm going to discuss about the rule of economy. What is the rule of economy? The rule of economy is to fulfill the rule of use to become economical. This means economical, which means is the economizing on presentation time in order to provide maximum practice time by the in some situations by the classroom or in other way. So by the rule of economy, it is really connected by the grammar, because the rule of economy is following or under the rule of grammaticalization. So with the grammar, it's a little can go a long way. Where like what I said, it's under the grammaticalizations that all parts of the rules of teaching grammar were connected from this. And because of grammar is partly the study of what forms or structures are possible in a language. So there's some reason or situations that we need to know about the factors that may help us or for you for doing some activity or presentations. First one is their level, the size of the group, or what their needs. Next one is the learners, which is the learner's interest. Next is the available materials and resources, the learners of previous learning experience and their present expectations. The cultural factors, right, that might affect the attitudes, like their perceptions of the role on status by the teacher. Next is the educational context, like the private school, public school, home school, or school abroad, and etc. Any school where definitely know or really need to know about the rule of economy and the rule of teaching grammar or the grammaticalizations. But why? Because if we're going to study and learn about the rule of economy, about the rule of teaching grammar, It's not hard to talk to others, to socialize others, because we know the right way on how to use the grammar. Because the grammar rules are made easier if they are given in a context and teaching grammar in context, which is provide accuracy in the target language. Because we know that language is really important because it recognizes ourselves if what country we belong, right? And language is the way to communicate and socialize with others. But of course, we need to know and think what is the right way to use some words while in communicating. So, in order to obey the rule number 2, which is in the rule of use, be economical. It minimizes the presentation and direct explanations the time in order to provide maximum practice time. By practicing, the students think, communicate, which is the experience, learning, and remember language. But when it points from the rule of grammar, the economy gives their own plot about the grammar rule. The rule of economy takes to fulfill the rule of use, because when presenting the grammar, the student easily to understand about what you're talking about. Because they said when presenting the grammar, the shorter is the better. And if you give too many instructions, the informations can be more confusing than if you just clear, of course. But if you give a simple instructions, the student easily to understand what you are talking about. Be economical with the classroom time and your words. In other words, it economizes on presentation or maximum practices. And according to Scott Thornberry, there's 6 rules of grammar teaching where the rule of economy is a part of them. And it gives also to minimize the presentation and to maximize the practice time. And according to him, in 1999, that he mentioned the 6 rules which we can use as a guideline for our teaching of grammar or for our considerations of grammar within language teaching. And we should be remembered that we are not grammar teachers. Or for me, as a future language educators, I should be remembered that we're not also grammar teachers, such as but language teachers, and that grammar is an aspect of language, as we're seeing in this course that may not be a wholly separate or actually clearly identifiable aspect depending on our course. And that is right. Do you think it's right? And so the rule of economy also revolves more or less around the presentations, the type of approaches to dealing with grammatical concerns and language. And due to limited time in a classroom, it is really important that the grammar teaching is done as efficiently as possible, because a teacher, or for me as a future language teacher, I always need to consider if a grammar activity requires a lot of teacher's time. And if you think I'm done to discuss about the rule of economy, no, because there's 3 basic principles of grammar teaching, which is the 3 E factors. Firstly, economy, ease, and efficacy or efficiency. So what is the meaning of economy? Like what I said, economy is about the managing the time, because when presenting the grammar, the shorter is the better. So it means it's about how to manage the time while we are going to use some aspects about rules of grammar. So if you give too many instructions, the informations will easily to understand the students, because the informations can be more confusing than if you just clearly to discuss the students, because simple instructions easily to understand, right? Because like what I said, economy or the rules of economy is about the economical, about the classroom time and your words. Ease, from the word ease, is about the simple words or the name of easier. ease is about means of the easier an activity is to set up, the better it is. Because as a teacher or as a future language teacher, I need to commitment to prepare the class, and of course the materials that I'm going to use it while I'm teaching the student. And of course, lastly, the efficacy or the efficiency, meaning it works. So there are 4 factors to evaluate the efficacy of an activity. But what are the 4 factors to evaluate the efficacy or efficiency of an activity? The 4 factors are attention, understanding, and memory, and lastly, the motivation. So, what is the meaning of attention? Of course, to what degree will this activity catch their attention, especially while the teacher teaching his or her topic. When a teacher discussing about the topic, of course, it is really important the teacher to get the attention of the student, because if the teacher get the attention of the student, the student easily to understand what teacher talk about the topic. And next is understanding. Attention without understanding is pretty much a waste of time, because the quality of contextual information or explanation and checking are what the evaluation of understanding it depends on. In other words, does it make sense? And that is true. Third one is memory. A memory is understanding without memory is also ineffective. And lastly, the motivation. What is the motivations about the efficiency? Motivation means the none of the other factors matter if there is a lack of motivations. The tasks and materials that are relevant to the students that needs, because that unachievable for the outcome and that have an element of the challenge while providing the necessary support. And now we're going for the next topic, which is the rule of relevance. The rule of relevance is the 4th rules of teaching grammar. What is the rule of relevance? The rule of relevance is different than the following rules. But why? Because the rule of the relevance is to use in focusing on how speakers of the language actually go about using the language. And it focuses not on the language itself, but on the language learner and what is relevant for her or him. To learn language, we should know all parts and roots of grammar. But learning is the inevitable outcome of teaching. What we hopefully learn in this topic is that we have to put students in positions where they are able to learn. We need to optimize what we do in the classroom so that the students can and will learn that efficiently. And because of the teaching grammar, the rules of relevance give what makes good thing for students. But always think that the grammaticalization is the way to know why the language have a lot of means and root of words that we should learn. The grammar also may help to practice and may also include exercises like what I said, and speaking, and not only reading and writing exercises. And grammar teaching skills also help to enhance ourselves. There's 2 aspects, which are inductive and deductive. By the inductive and the deductive, the teaching grammar having a variety of different techniques which can be used, which suggests that adopting a single approach to grammar to teach, or the teaching does not account for many relevant factors, such as the various reasons and purposes for learning English. In teaching grammar is one of the certainties of language teachers, whether they like teaching it or not. But through structures that appropriate meaning is conveyed, being an unavoidable component of language teaching, many teachers find it challenging to make grammar class interesting and fun. But because But because of this, first of all, the purpose of this is to give the right way to manage the grammaticalizations or the grammar, and observing about the root of elements of teaching grammar, that is, it's easily for us to know everything. And for all about the two topic about the rule of economy and the rule of relevance, rather, that's for all about the two topics which is under the rule of teaching grammar. And I hope all of you understand what I'm share and explain about the rule of economy and the rule of relevance. And that's for all, and have a good day.